A young 17-year-old boy with a vision of becoming a doctor but no means of income to fund college sought guidance from a family friend, secretly praying he would provide a loan. Instead, he was guided toward an industry he knew nothing about: restaurants. A restaurant selling submarine sandwiches. The boy had never even attempted to make a sub, but he set off on a journey with his family friend, who became his partner with a new vision of opening 32 submarine sandwich shops in 10 years. Little did he know that the idea would result in expanding globally to become a significant player in the restaurant industry in more than 100 countries with over 37,000 restaurants. Eat fresh. This restaurant always held and prioritized its values by providing fresh and healthier choices to fast food. Fresh is what we do. Slogan of 2016. You all know this one. Yes, you do. It's Subway. You know Subway, but who is Fred DeLuca? It's him. The 17-year-old we just talked about, remember? The boy who had never made a sub. Well, he soon grew up to be the iconic and global submarine expert. So grab yourself a Subway sandwich and let's find out how Fred DeLuca made it, the place where fresh is the taste. The slogan of 1990 to 1995. Let's go back to 1947 when Fred was born on the 3rd of October in Brooklyn, New York, to parents CARMELA and SALVATORE DeLuca. They moved from town to town in his childhood, from living in an old basement apartment in Brooklyn to the Bronx to Schenectady and finally to Bridgeport, Connecticut. Fred continued his high school education and graduated from Central High School in Bridgeport in 1965. During his childhood, Fred became familiar with Peter Buck, a close family friend. Both families often went on picnics and held parties together. However, along with Fred and his family moving to Bridgeport, the connection with Peter faded. Now, Fred, with a vision of becoming a doctor, yet in doubt as to how he could afford to pay the tuition, wondered if he should give up on his dream. That's when Peter relocated to a new home just a few miles away from Fred's and invited the DeLuca family over to their new home. Fred confronted Peter about his struggles and what he wanted to pursue. This is when the magic began. Peter suggested that Fred open a sub shop, but Fred didn't even know how to make a sub. Peter decided to lend $1,000 and offered to become Fred's partner, confident that the business would bloom and that the 17-year-old would gain the money he needed for college. But for many years down the line, it didn't. With the assistance of Peter and his mother, in 1965, Fred was able to open the doors to his first restaurant in Bridgeport. The shop was originally named Pete's Submarines, but during radio advertisements, it was heard as Pizza Marines, which was, of course, very much misleading, and thus the name later changed to Pete's Subway, in respect to Peter who guided him. The results from the first shop did not meet either of their expectations. They pulled several strings in an attempt at marketing and advertising, even spent expensive amounts to spread the word and gain loyal customers. It failed. Every single attempt failed. Even if you set a long-term goal, that doesn't mean it's a straight line journey. Often there are problems and obstacles along the way. But, not too eager to give up, by comprehending that the location for their first restaurant was not in favor of spectacular growth, Fred believed that is the biggest mistake they made. A year later, the duo decided on a challenging decision to open a second restaurant. To their surprise, this was a step up from their very first one and made plenty of loyal customers. Sales were hiking sharply, and thus the duo opened a third restaurant in the same year. This is when sales skyrocketed in all three locations. Consumers soon became aware and began flocking around Pete's Subway. Hitting unexpected and unplanned levels of accomplishments made Fred curious about business and began looking at methods to substantially improve his business. He recalled setting a goal of 32 shops in 10 years. By the 8th year of business, Fred was now a proud owner of 16 restaurants. Would he be able to double it in 2 years? In desperate edge to achieve his decade-long goal, the young entrepreneur reached for advice from the renowned global figure William Rosenberg, founder of the multinational giant Dunkin' Donuts. William suggested Fred get on with franchising, as he did. Fred realized to be successful in franchising, it would require them to come up with a catchier name for their business. In 1968, Pete's Subway changed to Subway as we know it today. With the initial steps of franchising, and with the fact that Subway's startup cost of franchising was lower than that of other companies, their sales hit the roof, reaching astonishing heights of success. Fred, sharing the same growth mentality as Peter, developed Subway remarkably from owning 1 store in 1965, 3 stores in 1966, 100 stores in 1978, 1,000 stores in 1987, 1,100 stores by 1993, and as of today, more than 37,000 restaurants located worldwide. Feeling inspired yet? Hang in there, we have more. Towards the end of the 1990s, Fred came across something surprising. A man named Jared Foggle, weighing 425 pounds, managed to lose 245 pounds by exercising and eating from Subway as part of his diet plan. Fred, smart as he was, met Jared and gifted Jared a brand new Mitsubishi Galant and proceeded to introduce Jared as Subway's spokesman in 2000. He appeared in Subway's adverts for 15 years and was featured in over 300 commercials. Before the full-on advertising campaign, Subway ran an introductory test advertisement with the disclaimer, "The Subway diet, combined with a lot of walking, worked for Jared. We're not saying this for everyone. You should check with your doctor before starting any diet program, but it worked for Jared." If someone wants to eat healthily, they can do that and get the sandwich exactly right. I'm so pleased we're able to influence so many people and their eating habits. Want to know more about his success? By the end of 2010, Subway developed and grew to become the largest fast food chain worldwide. That was 1,012 restaurants, more than that of McDonald's. By 2015, Subway was ranked 3rd place on the top global franchises list and ranked 1st as the fastest growing franchise. Fred was determined on expanding, and that is what he achieved. He was striking at every possibility, having started at the very bottom with a borrowed $1,000 to acquire a net worth of $3.5 billion US. Though he acquired a vast amount of wealth throughout the years, he remained humble and down to earth. He often looked at Subway as a family business and enjoyed the simple pleasures of life, such as driving an old Lincoln and flying coach. Subway is a real point of pride. We have influenced the way people eat. It doesn't matter if you're in the USA or on the other side of the globe, there is always a Subway. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.